hold on.
Well, you told us.
We have to get the
Oh, come on,
official go.
you're on. Move quickly. I move that we open this meeting at 7:03 now.
Second. How are we going to do the minutes?
Somebody's going to do it from the televised version.
Do we
Okay.
have an alternate here that could maybe
No.
practice being a member?
No, we don't need to worry about that.
Do minutes?
No, we'll do minutes, we just,
You don't want to go down that road.
we'll figure it out. We have the recording.
Oh, we're all set?
Yeah, you're good.
All right.
Do we have any remote?
So there is a motion to open the meeting and a second. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Okay, yeah, no members
Remote? No.
are remote. I don't, so, let's see. I don't think that, I don't think Tom is coming, and Fred, he may show up, who knows. But we'll have everyone introduce ourselves, so we'll start with Jill.
Jill Carr, newest associate member.
All right.
And first,
Rich York, starting my second year on the committee.
Stephanie Bartelt, Vice Chair.
Mike Dempsey, Chair.
Bill Formosi, Commissioner.
Terry Grimm, Commissioner.
Okay, thanks, everybody. Yes, so Jill is official now, appointed associate member. So there's two things that associate members cannot do, but they can do everything else. So they cannot vote on anything, and they don't count towards a quorum. But other than that, associate members can ask it questions, any other things that all the other commissioners can do. All right.
And they need to recuse themselves if there are conflicts of interest? Do they have to pass the ethics exam? No, seriously, I'm asking.
I suspect so. But I'm sure the town clerk will let us know about that one. Okay, so we do not have any public hearings tonight, but we do have 4 requests for determination of applicability, and they are all under the bylaw. So we'll be going through them one at a time, but there are no hearing requirements for any of those, just regular meeting and discussion, and we vote to make a decision. And we've got some project updates to talk about, a few other pieces of business. So we'll start with what's on the agenda as 5 Cranton Ave. This is continued from last month, and it's a Groveland RDA for the removal of trees within an area subject to jurisdiction by the commission. We visited the site last on June 25th, and I think everybody was there. And so if we recall, what we talked about, I believe, was allowing any dead tree that is approximately no less than 50 feet from the edge of the wetlands, and that would approximately be 25 feet from the property lines. And the trees will be trimmed or topped when possible, and leaving the cuttings falling into the buffers, the remaining buffer zone. The BVW really hasn't been determined where it is. You know, we have the map on my map, but, you know, so this is kind of a rough thing. I would say, you know, the property line is easier to determine, so approximately 25 feet from the property lines of the 6 adjoining parcels to 119 Main Street, which is where the property is located. The other thing is that this was filed by Mr. Point of 5 Cranton Ave, but we're going to issue the permit letter to Mr. Sir, who lives at 119 Main Street, since he owns the parcel where all the trees are located, and, but we'll reference the properties on Cranton being 5, 7, and 9, and also the properties on Dwinell being 2, 10, and 16. So that's all that I've got about it. Does anyone else have any other items they want to talk about on it?
The only thing that I wanted to note was there was that one live tree that was marked for takedown, that was an elm tree, and I guess I just want to make sure that we're talking about dead trees, not live trees.
Yeah, so the permit is going to say dead trees only.
Okay.
I mean, I don't have necessarily some objection to that. Some of them are, these are ash trees that are imminent.
Yes, ash is fine, but there was a mature
Okay,
elm
all right, so maybe.
that was marked.
Any ash tree that's imminent or
Dying.
otherwise dead tree.
Yeah,
Okay,
dead or
that's-
dying.
Yep.
The other thing I heard you said, top or trim if possible, and I kind of went back to what I wrote. I mean, especially along the edge, these are big trees you saw. Some of them are the better part of 100 feet tall. Hello.
Thanks, Chris.
Say your name and address.
Rob
for the
Point,
record.
5 Cranton Ave. So the bigger ones that are along the edge, they're not gonna be trimmed, they're gonna be toppled right into the wetland. We're not gonna crane anything
Yeah,
as efficiently, as expeditiously, and as cheaply as possible.
yeah,
Okay.
because it's going to say when possible.
I guess that when I hear that though.
No, you're good.
No, yeah,
Anything-
I mean, we
anything-
agree with you, I just,
Okay.
yes,
All right.
we agree. We all agreed that night when
Okay.
we were
That-
there, that
That gets to
we
the...
understand your point of view.
Okay.
The when possible is if a tree is far enough back and you can take 30 feet off of it, so if it falls, it's not going to hit
Okay.
anything, that's your choice to cut it or top
Okay.
it.
None of this is about yard vanity or anything like that.
No,
so,
no, we
yeah.
understand.
we
No, we've
understand
seen it.
completely.
We
Yeah,
understand.
yeah.
You haven't had any, have you had any contact with the people on Dwinell?
Yeah, in the sense that before the meeting, I talked to, Chuck, which is, so there's Jeff's dad, and I can't remember which house he's in.
Yeah, he's
maybe
on
that's
10. 2, I mean.
two. And then Dave is the next neighbor. I did not catch his last name. Then Chuck and either his wife or somebody else. And then also there's a 2 family right next to it. I actually talked to them as well, just to let them know. And again, I'm not exactly sure where that,
Yeah,
Where that line
I
is.
think only 2, 10, and 16
okay.
are abutters to Mr. Sir's
Okay,
house.
if you looked at the map, then you have a better sense than me.
Yeah,
That may be right, okay. That would be that intersection, okay. I've got enough time and effort into this, I'm not looking to make it more complicated than it has to be.
right. So, Commissioners, the other thing on here is that there will be no stump grinding. they have to notify us when they plan on doing the work. And
How would that work? How do I have, I mean, is it
just
just send you a
call up,
text?
send a text,
Okay.
send
Email.
an email.
Fair enough, got it.
Any other items, questions?
Is there any requirement, once this work is all done, that we just stop down and just kind of verify that it met our?
Yes, I would say we should put in there, not just leave it open-ended. Just say, contact us when you're starting and when the project is complete.
The only thing I
point.
would say along those lines is, certainly, I'm probably going to work with the Fishers next to 5 Cranton Ave 7 and Carol that you met at 9. We may be able to coordinate with the folks on Dwinell. I didn't get to know them that well, unfortunately. Maybe says something more about me than them. I mean, but I tried to hey, these trees are a problem. Do you want to? But I think people, costs, et cetera. So what I want to leave with or receive relatively soon is a letter that it's very clear I can hand to Steve Collins or any other tree person. They know that it's all above board, no questions asked, ready to do work, again, with some announcement, text to you, and we're ready to go. Now, if anybody else wants to wait or defer sometime, just that they have that flexibility.
Yes.
Yeah, I don't think.
No, I don't think, I would say this could go on for a couple of years.
Yeah, okay. That's fine. Okay, great. I mean,
We
this
just
this
don't
is
want
going to
it to
be
be-
thousands and thousands of dollars.
We just don't want it to be completely open-ended.
Okay.
Do we want to put an expiration date on it?
2 years sounds good.
2 years, yeah.
Okay.
And it would be just the Cranton side, right?
Yeah, that's, you're not responsible for the other streets.
Oh, well, but I'm going to hand those. I told them I would give them a letter.
Yeah, and they can,
And if
And they do the
again,
same
if-
thing.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And
yeah.
again, if the tree guy's there and they want to kind of team up together, they're just taking it all out at the same time.
'Cause it's all on the same
Economies of
property.
scale.
Well, except they're not.
It's all in the SER
It's all on
property
the same
Yeah.
property.
Is it, and the,
for
oh,
119
okay.
Main.
All right, and that's why you're doing it for just that property, not for you.
That's right.
So maybe in the letter, we put the contact information
Yep.
for start and finish,
Yep.
so that if he decides to do his house, gets it cleared, he just sends us the email, and then everybody will
Yeah.
have the letter, they can do it themselves.
Right.
You should,
You've done
divorce
your part.
yourself from
You've
this.
done
Yeah,
your
don't
part.
become the
Yeah.
project
Spokesmodel.
manager.
Yeah, project manager.
If you're not
exactly.
careful, you'll end up on a town commission.
You'd like it. It's
You'll
fun.
be you'll be our ash removal expert for the town. You don't want that.
I'm sure it's a painful job. You have to listen to people like me.
So
anyway, I think that's-
the other thing is, I was thinking about this, is when we permit trees to be taken down, we usually ask that they're replaced. But in the case of dead trees, I don't think that that's necessarily required. I don't know, what do you think?
I mean, I still think that we're going to need some sort of replacement trees and shrubs in there,
I
native
don't
trees.
think you can do that, because the people who are asking to have it cut down for the protection of their houses are not the people who own the property, so it's not fair.
I'm just worried about erosion with like.
I don't think so.
large volume water.
I think there's a lot of vegetation in there that's gonna spring up because these things are gone now.
Yeah, I would actually agree, and I'm happy to move on to erosion if you want to talk about that. It's not going anywhere. That's half the problem. We talked about water briefly. Matter doesn't go out, it only goes in. And then how many cubic meters of tree material are we going to drop in there that it's going to fill that? And it's going to be over septic systems in the not so distant future, to be honest. That'll be the next problem. Anyway.
I just
What do you
don't think we
think?
have the.
Well, we don't have an official, we haven't done our official tree policy yet, so.
Well,
but-
especially in the case of forests of ash.
Right.
Once the ash, I wasn't there for the sidewalk. Once the ash are gone, there's stuff already growing back.
Yes, tons.
So it's not like it's going to be a meadow.
No,
It's, right?
no, it's not going to be a meadow.
You can't see, I can't see Dwinell. There's tons of stuff. A lot of low that's gone in the winter, short leafy stuff, but there are trees that are coming up.
I just worry about invasives moving in.
The what?
Invasive.
Oh, invasives. Well,
AKA Japanese
kill the
knotweed
damn
that's across the
invasives.
street.
That's my advice.
Well, I mean, there's Japanese knotweed right on Cranton. So,
It would have to
And
cut through the
planting
yard.
natives are gonna, they're not gonna crowd out the knotweed.
no, but like I'm saying, Japanese knotweed is going to move into that spot because it's
But if there's
wet.
already stuff growing
It's
there,
prime.
well, but what I'm saying is, I don't know what you can put in there that's going to prevent knotweed if it's getting ready to move in.
Trees. Because Japanese knotweed is not a big fan of shade. So that's my only
Pretty
point
good in my
is,
neighbor's backyard.
Well,
it's
I mean,
much-
it
it's
loves
much
sun,
thinner
I'll give you,
in
it loves
shade.
sun, but it's creeping it's creeping toward my backyard.
I know, so this is my point, though.
But that doesn't, you're gonna need a 40-foot tree to make any difference, and that's not gonna happen in the time that the Japanese knotweed is marching in.
well,
Green giant arborvitae.
She hates those too.
Not
what,
native.
what I would suggest is that we
That would
include
go
a list
quickly.
of, our standard list of native trees, and saying that if you, if you have any money left over, basically, and you want to put some replacement trees in there, here's a list
Yes,
of what you can do.
of natives.
Absolutely.
We'll include the list.
Nobody gets hurt.
Okay, so I guess we're ready for a motion here. Somebody want to make a motion for a negative determination?
Make a motion for a negative determination on the 5 Cranton Avenue tree removal per the order of conditions and a letter to be delivered to the properties.
Do you want to call it 5 Cranton, or do you want to call
Yeah,
it?
no,
119
So
Main.
change that to 119 Main.
yeah,
If you could CC me,
Second.
that'd be good. It's not too much trouble.
any questions on the motion? Okay, hearing none, all in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Unanimous.
Well done, Rob. Mission accomplished.
We'll get that letter out in the next couple of days.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Yeah, thank you.
Okay. Next, we have a Groveland RDA for, it's in the packet.
Yeah, that's quite a presentation.
Oh, here, the Talieri Murphy one, that one,
Yes.
15 Ashcroft.
Filed for New England Power Electric Company.
Oh, that one.
For the entire right-of-way on the southern part of town from Boxford to Georgetown, I believe. So, let's see, who is this?
Shyla?
Hi there. Yes, I'm here zooming in to your meeting tonight. Can everyone hear me okay?
Yes.
Yep.
Okay, awesome. Well, good evening. Thank you so much for having us on the agenda. We appreciate your time. My name is Shyla Davis. I'm here with BSC Group, and I'm here for this RDA application on behalf of New England Power Company. Would it be helpful for me to share my screen so that you can see the map for the project, or do you have it already?
You have a lot of maps.
We have maps, but if you could talk us through it, that'd be great.
Okay, great. So just a little background on the project. New England Power Company is proposing to conduct pole inspection and treatment. We refer to that as PIT, just as a shorthand. And these maintenance activities are proposed at 17 structures along the 394 transmission line, which, as you said, is located between the Boxford and Georgetown town line in the south, and then the West Newbury and Georgetown town line in the north. But only 10 of those structures out of the 17 are located within resource areas, which include bordering vegetated wetlands, their 100-foot buffer zones, and or the 200-foot riverfront area. And this maintenance work does meet the criteria for exemption under the Massachusetts Wetlands Protection Act, but does not meet the criteria for exemption under the Groveland Wetlands Protection Bylaw. So that RDA is being submitted under the bylaw only for the 10 structures within jurisdiction.
Okay.
And the purpose of the pit work is to protect wooden utility poles from weathering and structural damage, which can be caused by bacteria, fungi, or insects. And this will allow them to, them being New England Power Company, to provide continued reliable delivery of electrical service to the region. And the activities more specifically include removal of soil about a foot around the base of the poles to a depth of 18 inches. And they'll inspect the condition of each of the wooden poles, remove any wood decay that they might find below the soil, and treat those areas. And then this will all be done with hand tools. Any soil they need to excavate during the inspection and treatment process will be temporarily staged on a filter fabric, and then they'll use that to backfill the area once they're done, again, all using hand tools, and any disturbed areas will be stabilized to the pre-existing contours and surface conditions, and they'll only be using historically used existing access roads to get to all of the structures. So no alteration to the resource areas is anticipated. And if you have any questions about the project, my colleague Hani Ishihara or I could answer them for you, but we're hoping that you'll find that there won't be any impacts and we'll be able to issue a negative determination.
We're looking things over here.
Yes, I know that was a lot, and I'm happy to go over anything again as needed.
So you said there's going to be minimal disturbance, because I know under those power lines, there's quite a plethora of, I mean, even mentioned here, of wildlife, and then also the native plants are amazing, especially over in West Newbury. So you're minimal disturbance, you're using the access roads that are already there. You're not necessarily replacing the poles, you're just making sure that they're still in working order?
Yeah, so it's an assessment of the existing condition below soil, just because, you know, over time weathering, like the bacteria, fungi, and any insects in that area could be causing some kind of decay, so they just kind of scrape away and treat, and then it should be, you know, theoretically all set for a while.
When we say treat, what are you treating them with?
Sorry, it looks like my coworker Hannah was jumping in there. It's a, yeah, go ahead.
Okay. Sorry, our internet's a little spotty. So if poles are deteriorated and need to be replaced, then they will be permitted under a different project. And the poles are treated with a pesticide applied as like a paste with a brush. So there's no aerosol dispersion.
What kind of pesticide?
It's a
Yes,
Yeah.
go ahead.
oh, sorry. Yeah, it's a paste that they paint on to the area in a localized to where the decay was.
That's not a chemical, that's a description of how it's being applied. What's the?
Oh, I misunderstood. Okay.
What's the pesticide or the fungicide or whatever it happens to be? What are you planning on applying to the poles as needed?
Yes, there are 3 pesticides. Let me pull up the names of those. I'm not sure, Charlotte, if you can get to that quicker. But they all approved part of agriculture by a licensed applicator, and the company that's doing the application is Osmos, and they're licensed under the state of Massachusetts.
Still talking about the application, not the actual chemicals.
Right, yes.
So if you could, I'm just curious, I'm peripherally in the business, and I'm just curious as to what,
You want the name of the
I
chemical.
want to know what kind of chemicals you're, not spraying, but applying
Right.
to the poles.
Okay. I am
understand.
pulling that up right now. If you would mind just
Oh,
give me
take
one
your
second.
time.
My file's just a little slow to load tonight.
Take your time. Everybody's watching videos right now because it's too hot to go outside.
Right, because they're right next to vernal ponds and,
Yeah, that's my concern.
yeah. Yeah.
I mean, the fact that you're not spraying it, that's nice. It doesn't get dispersed quite as much, but it's still, if it's in water, it moves around.
Right.
It doesn't even need to leach.
None of this. I completely understand concern. None of the structures we'll be working on are within 100 feet of any certified or potential vernal pools.
Well, they're vernal pool
You-
adjacent, according to the map.
Some of them are in standing water, right? I mean, not vernal pools, but
Yeah,
actual
Here we go.
beaver,
Habitat,
well, not
Yes.
habitat, but
definitely in-
beaver-built ponds.
habitat.
so, if they are in standing water, they will still be assessed visually, but they will not be treated with any pesticides.
Oh, so if they're in water, they will not be treated with pesticides?
Correct. They will still be assessed, and any decay that is present will be removed. And if the crews start digging around the structure and they encounter water, they will not dig in, they will not keep digging. There's no dewatering involved in this project.
Is that stated in the project here? Or is that's in one of your guidelines?
Those are part of the standard
Best management
BMPs.
practices.
Best management practices. And Shyla here has the name of the 3 pesticides that they'll be using.
Yes, yeah, thank you for your patience on that. And I'm not sure if these will be familiar. They might just be kind of like the brand names, but the information that we have were Hollow Heart, MITC-Fume, and MP500-EXT.
Yeah, those are trade names.
Yes.
Hollow Heart,
Heart, yes, Hollow Heart.
MIT
See,
C-Fume,
Fume, F-U-M-E,
correct.
and MP500 EX,
EXT.
EXT.
Yes. And those, as we said, would be approved by use, approved for use by Osmos on the MDAR, or the Department of Agriculture Pesticide Product Registration Information Database.
Are those approved by Mass DEP?
Pesticides are regulated under the Department of Agriculture, and they are approved.
Yes.
Agricultural use.
In terms of access, some of the potential access roads that you have shown in the plans go right through vernal pools and wetland areas. What are some of the best management practices to avoid damage, even though those are existing potential access roads?
I'm just going to repeat the question to make sure I heard you correctly, that you're asking about the existing access roads and that some of them go through wet areas.
Exactly, yep.
Okay, I just wanted to confirm I heard that correctly. So they will be walking in those areas, and as I had mentioned, for the activities of assessing the poles. They're doing that with hand tools, which they can carry, so they can go in on foot for any areas that would be in wetlands, or they can drive in the upland areas just in their normal trucks. But then once they get to the wetland area, they will walk from there. So no vehicles should be going through the wetland.
Okay, that's good. There are some places where the wetlands go fully across the right-of-way, though, where I don't imagine there's an upland option. So something like mats to drive across should be in the BMC list.
Mats were not part of this application, as they would be walking through those areas. So if there is a large stretch of wetland, then I guess the crews are gonna get their leg exercise in for the day.
Methyl isothiocyanate.
Ethyl isothiocyanate.
Sounds delicious.
Say, no, none of those are glyphosate.
No, but they're
Wouldn't
also
recommend
bad.
eating it.
No, but. So, I have a question. What is the timeline for this work being done?
The timeline of the maintenance activities?
Yes.
Yes, I believe those will be the summertime through fall of this year. So it's a relatively short. It'll be done this season. Take a few months.
So no work beyond our seasonal restriction period of November 1st.
I believe that is correct.
Okay.
Yes. So November 1st is the seasonal restriction date. So if they're getting started this summer, then they should be able to be done pretty quickly.
Oh, yeah, this one, the MP 500 definitely says not to use anywhere near water. Toxic to fish and invertebrates.
Okay.
And that's
Which-
it's a resin. It's more of a binder than
Oh, as a
than
wood
an
preservative?
actual pesticide. It's just, I think they're trying to use it to like slowly release it rather than have it all get dispersed at
Oh.
once,
Okay,
which makes sense.
Yeah.
The tiny time capsules.
yeah.
And the Hollow Heart is, they're inorganic, it's like copper naphthenate. and
Yeah,
stuff. It's
yeah,
not great, but there's a lot worse stuff out there.
I guess.
No, really. There's a lot worse
I know,
stuff
but
out
still,
there.
I mean, it's going into our
Yeah.
delicate areas.
So they're going to, are they planning on applying these as a preventative or only if there's evidence of some decay? Are they going to apply it to all of them regardless of whether there's been decay, or is it just going to be the affected ones? I think you muted.
I'm not sure of, sorry, can you hear me okay?
Yeah.
Okay, I'm not sure exactly under what circumstances they will apply which pesticide to each pole. That's something and talk to the New England Power Company about and get follow-up via email if you'd like.
I would like that.
Okay?
How long? do
Is
they-
it all right if we email?
You
Yeah.
you can email.
Is it all right if we email Annie back
Yes.
with that?
Yep, she's very diligent
Okay.
about getting it to us. How long is this project expected to take from start to finish? Workdays?
Straightforward
It really depends on
called,
the weather. The crew is working all over the state, so the amount of time they'll spend in Groveland is probably a few days max. We just don't know the exact timeline since they are working on structures throughout the entire state.
Okay, so, but if it takes us another month, that's not going to totally croak the whole project, because you'll still have like 4 months to work.
If you'd like to extend to the next hearing, then that would work for us.
Yeah, I think so. I mean, if it was going to take you 3 months to do it, I would be reluctant to slow down the process. But if you're going to be able to squeeze it in a week or so, or 2 weeks, sometime in the next 3 months, waiting till the next meeting is not going to be a huge problem.
I missed that. What are we waiting for?
Oh, to see what the real scope of it is, whether they're just going to treat every pole that they run into that's not in water, or whether they're just going to treat ones that have been affected, whether they're looking to do this as a preventive or as a treatment.
Okay.
Because that's going to,
And we'll get that information to you as soon as possible.
Thank you.
Perfect.
It's a
Thank
valid
you.
question.
Yes.
So then this is a continuation.
Well, is it
oh,
really?
we should talk about as much as we can now.
Unless I mean, what difference is it going to make? What are we going to say different if they are putting it on every pole versus not?
Well, there may be some poles that are, sort of borderline close to to resource areas.
Yeah, but they've already said they're not doing that.
They said if they strike.
Well, they said they weren't going to do
water
them
or
as
strike
vernal
water, they're
pools.
not going to do it.
Well,
Right.
yes, they said if they're not in water, they don't treat them, but you might replace those poles, then I'm guessing.
But that's different.
But that would-
That's
they'd
That's
have
they would reapply for that.
That would be permitted through a separate project.
Okay.
To me, this sounds like they go in, cut around the pole.
Dig a
apply-
hole, scrape a little bit.
And if they put mats down underneath that can collect or stop any runoff.
Underneath.
There
the-
will not be any wetland matting used for this project.
Sorry?
Tarps and filter fabric will use to hold the soil.
Okay.
Right.
Oh, so you're
During-
sort of encapsulating that area?
Yeah.
Okay.
They say they put down mats.
Okay. All right.
And
Well-
just to clarify, to make sure we get you the information, you said you'd like to know how they're going to assess, whether they're applying this treatment to each pole or only the ones with decay? And did you also want to know which of the three that they're using, or was it just?
Well, it sounds like they have, these things have different functionalities. So it doesn't sound like, well, the third one in particular doesn't sound like it's any sort of pesticide or fungicide at all. It seems more like a binding agent, matrix sort of thing, rather than a pesticide. So my guess is they're going to be using all three of these things at a time.
Okay, and when you
particularly
said-
if they're trying to do, the fungicides are not pesticides, so they, they kill things, but they're not pesticides per se. And my suspicion is that they would want to deal with both fungal rot and insect incursions. So my guess is they're using all three of these things, and that's, there's, I'm not crazy about, I wouldn't use any of these on my property, but,
Yeah.
I don't have utility poles on my property either, so different set of needs.
Sure, and just to clarify, you had referred to, for the pesticides, the third one, were you referring to MP 500 EXT?
Yeah, that's
Okay.
a resin, and it seems like, I haven't researched it, I just quickly
Google.
looked it up. But it seems like its function is more to hold things in place than kill things. It's holding things in place that kill things, I think.
Everybody's got a job.
Yep.
So,
So anyway, I don't have any strong objection if you're not putting it right into the water, and if you're containing it. It seems very reasonable.
I guess if it says in their plan right here, for the RDA that this is approved by the Division of Fisheries and Wildlife and Endangered Species, so I don't, okay,
I'm not approving it, but I'm not disapproving it either.
yeah.
It seems, there's, like I said, there's a lot worse stuff out there.
And just to clarify again too, is that they would not be applying anything into the water. So if there are poles that are in standing water in a wetland or vernal pool or something, then they would not be applying it in those instances. But they might still, remove the decay.
Oh, sure.
They would not be treating. Okay.
Yeah, they gotta do physical maintenance, that's a different story. And if it's sitting, anyway.
All right, so can we vote tonight to approve this?
Or
Can I ask one
decide it's
last
a negative?
question?
Yeah.
I'm looking at the site photographs, and it looks like a lot of these poles are very heavily vegetated, right up to the pole even, sometimes with shrubs and trees. Did they anticipate having to do any vegetation clearing for access?
I don't believe that was a part of the proposed activities, since they are working within just about a foot away from the base of the pole. So they won't be doing vegetation clearing for the
I think
purposes
her
of.
point is just getting to within a foot of the pole is gonna be an adventure.
Some of them are really heavily
Yeah,
buried.
yeah. I mean, it's
And that's
sunny
what these
there.
guys do.
It's sunny, there's a lot of water, no dirt bikes, things grow quickly there.
Yeah.
Sounds like a fun job, actually.
At least half of them are accessible and don't have a lot of stuff growing around them. And the one that has vines on it, I think you'd be scraping those vines off anyways.
And my guess is if they're not going in there with, like, equipment to bulldoze stuff out of the way, they're gonna keep it to a minimum how much they hack away by hand.
By hand,
Because
yeah.
that is hot, dirty, unpleasant work.
Yeah.
Well, this week
This is
anyway.
loppers at best.
She already said hand tools.
Yep, yeah, that's what I'm saying. So they're not gonna go in there with a, one of those mowers that you see hanging from
brush
the
hog.
helicopters.
So do we vote for a negative?
Well, so are we willing to close the hearing, to close the meeting and issue a
Negative
permit
RDA?
tonight? Yeah.
Yes.
Are we, is everybody happy with the information we've gathered before we make a motion?
Well, we don't have to all be happy, just three of us.
Well, yes, that's true.
Well,
I'm happy.
I don't mean
Yeah, you're right.
happy, I just mean,
I'm elated.
I like
I just
power.
mean willing to compromise.
Yeah, I mean, some of the ones they show here are, clearly in several feet of water.
Yeah.
So, it should be, do we want anybody
going with them?
participating? I mean, even, that's several days of participation.
Only if they pay me.
Yeah,
There's
there's no pay involved.
Yeah, you got that stipend,
No, we don't.
or you could,
No more stipends.
oh well, that's life.
If I make a motion.
Yeah, make a motion, make a
I'm
motion.
going
Mike
to
says,
make a
"Please,
motion
Please.
for the, what do you call this? This is,
Negative determination.
well, I know, but I'm trying to
determination.
think of, so, negative determination on the New England Power Company maintenance
For
for
the
the,
94 transmission line.
for the 394 transmission line.
Second.
Any questions on the motion? All in favor, say aye.
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 Against? Abstain? Unanimous.
You guys did a great job. Thank you very much for answering all of our questions.
Of course, thank you so much. And we will still follow up with you on that information just to make sure that you have everything. So we'll have an email once we get the information sent over to you, Annie.
Really appreciate that,
Appreciate
Chris.
that.
We like to be
Of
able to sleep
course.
at night
Makes things
without
easier
worrying
the
about
next time
stuff.
around.
Yeah, we want to make sure everyone has the information they need, but thank you so much for your time, and we really appreciate it.
Thank you,
Cheers.
Who seconded that?
Terry.
Stay cool this week, everyone.
Yeah, you
Thank you.
too, thank you.
Well, you got a brook behind you, that should be easier.
Okay, next is a Groveland RDA for a removal of another dead tree at 15 Ashcroft Terrace. So the, look in the packet, I don't think, it just has a description of it. There's no picture.
I don't know.
Well, you've been there, Mike, right?
Yes, I have been there.
Just
Tree needs to come down?
The tree is down, actually.
Oh, tree's down.
And the tree, I believe the tree was actually in the wetlands, right at the very edge. It wasn't just in the buffer zone, but it fell into the buffer zone. But they're just going to be able to come in and saw it up and take it away. They don't need to bring any equipment in there or anything, so it's pretty straightforward.
So what do you want, a negative determination on that?
Yeah, yeah.
Move to offer a negative determination on tree removal at 15 Ashcroft Terrace.
Second.
Any questions on the motion?
Is it one tree or trees?
Just one.
For removal of a tree.
Yeah, and, again, we'll specify in the permit that it's dead.
Yep. Don't be taking any other trees.
Unless it's a normal maple.
All right, so we'll take a vote then. All in favor of a negative determination for 15 Ashcroft Terrace, removal of a dead tree on the property within jurisdictional areas, say aye.
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 Opposed, abstained, unanimous. Okay, the next one, 2 Federal Way. This, if you recall, this was a Groveland RDA for parking within the 100-foot buffer zone.
Are we continuing it?
Yes, I don't
Move to
believe
continue
we've heard
the-
from
Second.
anybody. So, Gary, you moved
Move to continue the GRDA for 2 Federal Way until the August 14th, 2024 meeting. And I think Stephanie pre-seconded it.
Pre-second.
Any questions on the motion? So we'll continue it till the next meeting. I mean, I think that I'm going to follow up with Jay Ogden to find out what the heck they're planning on doing.
Yeah, if they're folding their tent, we should probably just close it out.
Yeah, right.
But, and I think we're doing them a courtesy, keeping it open.
Well, we haven't even heard from them that they want to keep continuing. it.
Right, that's what I'm saying. I think it's a
We're under
courtesy.
no obligation.
Because we could easily make them refile
Yes.
and start all over again.
So we'll give them
So,
another month.
Okay, one more month.
They're witnesses. All right.
So, all in favor of continuing 2 Federal Way to August 14th, say aye.
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 Unanimous.
Arbor
Okay,
Day.
moving on to project updates and discussion. So the first one has to do with becoming a Tree City USA. In 2023, we put in a pretty broad scope Community Preservation Act project for trees at Elm Square, Easy Park, Washington Street, and then townwide activities. One of the townwide activities was an effort to become a Tree City USA. This is sponsored by the Arbor Day Foundation, and as part of that, there's 4 requirements. One of the requirements is that there is a tree committee. And so I spoke with Rebecca about this, and rather than forming another whole separate committee, she was okay with appointing the commission as tree committee for the town. So what would be required, obviously, we have to agree that we would do this, but besides that, then the selectmen kind of have to alter their appointment duties for us, and we need to come up with what we do, a scope. So before I started working on the scope and getting somebody else to write it besides myself, I just wanted to make sure that we were okay with that. I don't think it's going to require a lot more work. You know, we may take on some other duties, depending upon what the scope is, about perhaps approving tree removals that aren't conservation jurisdictional, but maybe come under, you know, many other towns, like if you're going to take down a historic tree, you know, a tree that's, say, 50 or 100 years old, and, you know, and it's questionable, then the tree committee maybe weighs in on it. So those, you know, we may have to take on a little bit more work, but I don't think it's going to be a huge amount.
Will it be promoting the use of native trees?
Oh, yeah, of course.
I can't see it not doing that.
Okay, good.
Well, what
Then
it
done.
What it would essentially do is take our activities regarding trees in our jurisdictional
Okay.
areas, spreading it to anywhere.
Okay.
That's really kind of the bottom line.
Well, would it
How's
be
that implemented,
anywhere, or
though?
would it be anywhere in town-owned or town-controlled property?
Yes, but it could also be in private property. We may encourage
In
people.
an advisory capacity?
Yeah, yeah,
Because
yeah.
we don't want to be,
can't-
we don't want to be tree Nazis.
No, well, we can't make
No.
people plant trees, but we could encourage people to
Right,
plant
right.
trees.
Native
Just-
trees.
Yeah, when I say trees, I only mean native.
Okay.
And arborvitae.
No,
My,
only a native variety.
my only
arborvitae.
concern is that so many people think that Conservation Commission is conserving things
Yes.
already.
Yes.
And we spend a good portion of our public face explaining that our jurisdiction is wetlands.
Yes.
And if we now all of a sudden say, well, but we also do everything else.
Well, yes, that could be tricky.
So I'm wondering if there's some way to have it be us, but not be us.
Well, we could have a separate.
What?
It's like the
What Schrodinger's.
Schrodinger's tree committee.
Yeah.
No, we
That's
could have a
exactly what I was
separate.
thinking.
We could have a separate meeting. You know, I just
Oh.
don't, I don't
We
see
need
us.
another meeting.
Yeah, I don't see us having to meet like every month on this. Maybe we meet like 2 or 3 times a year. And so we just have a completely separate meeting, and we are the tree committee. The same people on the commission are also on the tree committee.
Can we have an alternate?
Well, we can
Well, yeah.
make it anything we want.
Probably not. I think the guidelines for the Arbor Day Society are probably less stringent than our
Less stringent.
bylaws.
Okay.
So this committee would, outside of our wetlands jurisdiction, would just be advisory, only? We would have no teeth to,
If we have to weigh in.
It's not
on
an
trees.
enforcement thing, right?
yeah.
Well, only, you know, right now, there's the scenic bylaw, which regulates walls and trees along
Canopies
certain
and stuff.
streets. And so that probably needs to be, it does need to be completely rewritten because it's old and it really doesn't, a lot of it doesn't apply.
Walls and canopies?
But, you know, a lot of the times, there's questions about taking down a tree that's on the right-of-way, say, of a street. And should that be done or should it not be done? you
And
know?
we could be asked to weigh in?
Yeah,
And so we would potentially have the ability to say yea or nay on whether or not a tree in the scenic bylaw is going to stay or go?
yeah, we would work with the tree warden to, you know, the tree warden might come and say, look, I got these 10 trees that need to be taken down, I got enough money to do it, you know, is that okay, or what do you think? You know, the thing
I mean,
is,
mostly occurs with things like power lines.
Yes.
And when they're doing
And when they're-
road repairs.
Well, I think there was an issue with the scenic bylaw, though, so Mike raises a really good point.
yes, well,
Just
right.
one issue?
Well, I'm just saying, I know of one myself, but,
Yeah, you know, we haven't been represented on that at all.
so this could be a useful,
Yeah. Because no one, here's the thing is, first of all, we can define the scope. So, you know, we can say what it is that needs to be done. I don't want it to be like, we're like.
oh no, we got to check with the tree.
Yeah, right, exactly.
committee.
I want us to be more of an advisory role in
Okay.
this, you know, but we can define it kind of any way we want. And, you know, I
Who
think
better to be
That's right.
that committee?
I
it's
agree with you,
mostly,
Bill.
I feel like we want to take on trees more in our jurisdictional roles. So why should they have to appoint another whole committee if we know trees?
Better than anybody else.
Yeah, you know? But I think to Terry's point, we should kind of separate out the roles a little bit.
Okay.
What are the benefits of Groveland being a tree city? Do we get like tap into other funding sources to purchase trees?
When you drive into West Newbury
Signs.
and they get that sign up there.
Oh, Mike's jealous of the
Sign.
sign.
I want another sign when you're driving into Groveland.
You buy the sign.
Yes.
Groveland
We-
designates
I'm sure
itself
we
as
have
a
to
tree
buy it.
habitat.
Neon sign.
Mike, 40 years ago, I lived in a tree city.
Yes,
That tree city was Manhattan, Kansas.
oh, yes.
It had trees. It had some
Had
cool
trees,
ones.
now it's a cornfield.
Well, no, it's Flint Hills. It's a very scenic part of Kansas. Maybe the most scenic part of Kansas,
Because it's a tree city.
because there were some trees. But yeah, it's been around for a long time. It's just something to put on the town website.
Yeah, and you
It's-
get, you might get grants for more trees and stuff, you know, if you're looking to, say, do an education program or have a tree planting festival, you know, or something like that, it helps if you're a tree city for publicity. And
Why
Looks
move
good on
to
your environmental
Groveland?
resume.
We've got good schools, we've got a dog park.
And we're a tree city.
Tree
And we're a tree city.
Who wouldn't want to live here?
Yeah, that's right. And,
Well, we all do.
but also,
All right.
but
Let's start
also,
with that.
what is the name of our town?
Groveland,
Groveland,
Land.
Elm Groveland
right? So, you know, it's kind
What's
of
that
sad.
little thing downtown? Oh, Elm Park.
Park,
Right.
What's the recreational area?
the
Pines.
Oh,
Right,
Terry, you're so
okay.
good at this.
Yep.
I
I'm
nominate
starting
Terry
to run
as
out,
chair.
though.
I was looking for oranges when I came here.
So it's pretty
Pretty
sad that,
soon, next year maybe.
pretty sad that we're not a tree city already, so.
We are much more of a tree city than many of the ones in the
Most
south.
places.
Is there,
We're, a third of the town is state-owned.
Well, the next thing we
Forest.
have to do is write a scope and then get appointed.
yeah, no, but is there stuff to read, like just on the Arbor Day Society website, or is there
Bill wants to know more.
special stuff that they?
Bill's gunning for chairmanship, it's clear.
No, I'm just,
He's gone in to write the scope.
I'll
It's
help
clear.
with the scope.
Okay,
That I'll
good,
help with.
because I
That's not a
can't.
problem. I'm just
Can we,
wondering,
can we
Wait till I
borrow
know.
from West
is there
Newbury?
some
Do they have
background
a,
information?
Yes, there's tons of, just Google like Tree City USA and you'll
Okay.
come up to
That's
all.
what
look up
this.
Manhattan, Kansas, and you'll see what I mean.
So I'll go visit, site
Oh,
visit, Manhattan.
No,
No, he's not even,
no, West
Okay.
Newbury, site
All right,
visit.
so,
yes. we're-
Okay.
sounds like we're interested.
We're interested.
We'll skip number 7 for the time being. I don't know.
Thank you, Mike.
Kind of leave that down in the end if we get a few minutes, but
Oh.
I believe
Bring
that
that to the
last
next meeting.
time, we already appointed myself as a member, our representative to the Community Preservation Committee. So
You already
that-
are,
Huh?
the chair.
Well, yes, but I had to be, every year, had to
Okay.
reappoint. I think we
All right.
already did that.
Yeah.
But now, I did meet with the rec committee. The rec committee took over the
Trails.
Groveland Open Space and Trails Committee, got merged into it. And I met with the Recreation Committee because they really didn't have too many, much information about what they were supposed to do. And so I talked to them a lot about that, some of the roles of the former Open Space and Trails Committee and some of the work. And a lot of the trail stuff overlaps with us because, we've got all our trails on our properties. And so I think it's important that we work together. So the idea that they agreed to is that we kind of have a liaison to the rec committee, not that you necessarily have to go to all their meetings, but occasionally go to the meetings and communicate with them, be kind of the point person for trails on what they want to do and what we want to do, so that we're not working at odds. So, does anybody want to be the liaison to the rec committee for trails and open space?
So what night is their meetings?
When are their meetings? They don't really have a set time. They have,
Are they public hearings?
yeah, public meetings, just like ours.
Like us, okay.
Yeah. And they don't have a regular schedule. They might, I suspect they might meet every couple months.
And they're appointed?
Yes. But we wouldn't.
We wouldn't need to be appointed.
No,
We
we're
would
just
be-
a
We get a
liaison.
position in Parliament automatically because we're the Archbishop of Canterbury.
Yeah, right.
Okay.
Sure.
I've been reading some history.
Why read it? You're living it.
Archbishop of
Creating it
Canterbury.
myself.
Yeah, I'd be interested in that,
Okay, great.
since I
Thank
spend a
God.
lot of time, especially out on Strawberry Fields, out through those trails.
Yeah,
We ought to have like a cross-country race that goes through some of the trails.
Yeah. Well, see, that could be an activity as a trail day where we visit.
We'd have to make
every
sure that
one
there
of
wouldn't be a
our
lot of
trail-
broken legs
I
and
mean,
stuff.
a race,
but-
I
Well,
lost the trail at Meadow
walking,
Pond again
walking,
2 nights
walking,
ago. Okay.
walking.
That's not what I was thinking,
Off
but okay.
trail.
Well, if you want to
I don't know how you
run,
have a race
If
when
you-
it's hard to find the trail sometimes.
Well, if there's a whole pack of people, it's a lot easier.
Okay,
all right, so.
That or everybody
Just,
gets
just
lost.
follow Terry.
right.
Nobody's ever gotten
I
hurt
make a
doing that.
motion to appoint Rich York as our liaison to the Recreation Committee.
Second.
Okay.
I was just
All in
looking
favor?
for
All in
Steve's phone number,
favor?
and I can't find
Aye.
it.
Aye.
Can I vote for myself?
Aye. Did I say aye?
Yeah, you can vote for yourself.
Sure, aye.
All right.
3 out of 4 is not bad.
Yeah, did you vote?
I voted, I raised my hand.
Oh,
Didn't make a lot of noise
okay.
for once.
Oh, and so, you see right after this is trail maintenance procedures. So,
Eat a lot of that.
Yeah.
I've got some stuff, Rich, and what I'll try to do is gather it together, and maybe we can work on it together. What I want to do is just come up with a standard set of things that we want done for the trails, because I get asked a lot of questions about
Offering?
labeling the trails, marking the
Do I have any?
trails, clearing the trails, tree cutting on the trails. You know, what, if we have like a list of what our standard procedures are, so that we don't have to reinvent the wheel every time we get a question about it.
And we should schedule them, I think,
What,
maintenance,
well.
I know, that's what I was thinking, that we should.
because it gets out of control, and that's really hard.
Yeah.
And if you just went out there twice a year, it'd probably be
The other
much
thing,
easier and fun.
the other thing that we have tried to do is to have like a steward of each trail. So like, we'd have to have a steward for the 4 major ones, you know, Town Forest, Center Street Greenway, VZ Park, and Meadow Pond. So far, I've got a couple people doing Meadow Pond, and I think they're willing to be the stewards of that place. VZ Park, Doug Soper, that's kind of his job anyway, so he's kind of the steward of VZ Park. But the other two, Town Forest and in Town Forest, we have those folks over in Nichols Village.
Yeah,
They
they're
might
awesome.
be interested in
Yeah,
doing that.
yeah.
So that would just leave, you know, Center Street. So,
Rich knows Center Street like the back of his hand.
Spent a lot of time out there.
For real.
so, you know, we might be well on our way to having
Okay,
a
good.
stewardship committee.
Well, it would be fun if the stewardship committee, like Terry said, would have periodic.
Yeah.
I mean, it's good
Well,
that we
right.
all
Have a
participate.
trail day where, you know, we're all going to meet at Center Street, and we're going to check out all the trails, make sure they're marked, make sure they're clear, you know.
You spend like 2 hours and
Like
everything's
we've
better.
done over there at
The pond, Lower Center.
Lower Center Street,
Yeah.
right? Okay. Couple of other things. Other items
Old
not
habits die hard.
reasonably anticipated. So, I have a request from our director over there at VZ Park, that we remove the fire pit.
Oh, I was actually going to ask about that because it says no fires in one of the, and I know the Boy Scouts use that fire pit, don't they?
Well, a bunch of people.
I mean, I'd rather have a fire pit than not have a fire
Well,
pit.
here's the issue. This has gone on for a couple years, actually, probably since it's been put in. It was put in as an Eagle Scout project about, I want to say, 8 years ago or so. It's been there a while, but after it's been there, you know, we have a picnic table down there.
It's a great spot.
Yeah, it is a very nice spot. But what happens is that we get people going down there and using it, and they don't notify anybody, and, you know, maybe they're having a drinking party, and lately we found, you know, some other paraphernalia down there too.
Well,
So the concern is, you know, we have a sign up that says you're supposed to call the VZ number and get a permit in order to use it. I have personally have gone down there and found people using it with a pretty good-sized fire, and they didn't have a permit, they didn't know anything about it, they just decided they were gonna have a happy, whatever it was, party. So I guess the concern is that like I say, the VZ director is very concerned about the increase in the number of people that are using it without any, and the other thing is, it's, where it is you can't see it, you know.
I know, but it's such a nice spot for camping, and I know Jay had a group of
Do people
kids down there
camp?
camping, like a couple,
Like with tents and stuff?
well, he had Boy Scouts down there.
But
don't-
like with tents,
Is it a, what
I
kind of
don't-
fire, I haven't seen it. Is it a natural rocks?
It's
fireplace,
built, yeah,
Or is it brick, like, or?
No,
stone?
It's natural, it's beautiful.
yeah.
Okay.
I don't think she has any trouble with the Boy Scouts, because they always notify us when they're gonna do
Right,
something.
but now you're gonna take it out and nobody can use it.
Well,
And I
that's
always
why,
thought, I would like to
I'm not
camp down
taking
there.
it out, that's why we're talking about it, because I want to know what we all think. Is it better to just completely remove it? If not, how do we prevent, you know, a
you've got
runaway
insurance
fire
issues,
there
you've
or
got, the whole place could catch fire.
Yeah, right.
There's real issues here. It's not just, is somebody having a beer down there
Right.
without asking permission?
Right,
That's, you know, it's the extreme events that, where somebody gets injured and the town gets sued, where the forest catches fire, and we've had a lot of rain recently, but 2 years ago, all it would take would be somebody,
No, I get it, and VC gets used and abused by a lot of idiot people. I mean, I've seen it
on
myself,
camera.
but it would be really unfortunate since there's not a whole lot of spots.
It'd be nice if there was an area
That are
that
like
was
that.
still nice, but
I mean,
But-
visible,
but visible.
yeah.
Wonder
not-
if like the threat of fines would be helpful, adding to the signage that there's a $500 fine for not having a permit.
Well, that usually leads to vandalism, but, no, seriously.
Is, it well,
Yeah.
again,
Of what
if it
kind-
was
like-
something they really wanted to have there, could they put in a manufactured, like,
Yeah, oh, yeah,
and then,
yeah,
then
right.
you put up, then you have a metal cover and you lock it down with, and then to use it and get a permit, you get the key to unlock it, then
Oh,
you
yeah.
can take the,
That's a good idea.
Oh, so it'd be like
Top off.
a shed.
no, like your.
But I mean a
no,
place
like
where-
your fire pit, all you need to do is get a nice big steel plate with hooks on the end, and like the tables were locked down, right? with
like
things
the
in
boat ramp.
See, I kind of disagree with that, because if, you know, it's a big open area right down there, access to the water, that if you do put something in that you close over, they're probably still going to have fires just next to it
Right,
or on top of it.
right.
Or they might just rip it out.
At least with the pit, it's somewhat contained, preventing spread.
It's such a beautiful
was an
little
idea.
spot.
No, that's why we're throwing stuff out there.
So, Rich, just to follow up, so what do you think about, I mean, how, are we, are we being overly cautious or what? You know, is it really that dangerous to have it down there? I don't know.
I honestly believe that having it contained is far better than having it uncontained, because then it's going to get out. Then in the
Yeah.
middle of the night, I'm going to have to get up,
Yeah.
go
we
through
don't
all
wanna
that
know.
Nobody
crap with all
likes
Is
my
there
gear
something
on.
we can do to make it safer? Can we build a bigger perimeter with no flammable, or is it pretty?
It's a pretty big open space.
I'm not
and
familiar, where is this?
Down by the water behind VZ in a giant grove of mature, gorgeous pine trees.
You know where that peninsula is?
Yeah,
Okay, so you, right at the beginning of the peninsula, right there.
okay. I must have walked by it and just
Yeah,
not really
if you
noticed
went
it.
out and walked out that
I've
little
gone all the way to where
the
feet
path
got
to the
wet.
peninsula, once you start at the beginning, it's right there. It's got a picnic table.
Yeah.
It's
I probably blew
glorious.
right by it.
Is this Vanessa who wants to close it down?
Yeah.
Do you want to close
Oh,
it down,
she-
or is she
she-
just concerned?
No, she's concerned about it. you
Yep.
know.
There's a big difference.
So, you know, Jill's idea of putting a fine there, maybe, that might help, right?
What's posted to inform people that they can't just walk up and hang out?
It says something like permit required or something, doesn't it?
Yeah, I don't remember what the sign says, but,
Do we have a sign at the beginning of the trail, like right up by VZ Park, where people would start?
well, we could do that, yeah. That's
But then you're
wouldn't
just
hurt.
letting everybody know there's a secret hidey hole.
Fire pit this
Hey,
way.
come
Well,
here
I
and
mean, you
don't
have
use
to say
it.
fire pit, you know, you could just say something usage permit required or something.
Yeah, well, no, that's another possibility, definitely.
I mean, stop them before they,
Yeah,
before they
use
get
of-
down there.
Use of
I mean,
VZ
the first
Park.
time you
yeah.
see that you're not supposed to hang out there is when you're already there.
Well,
The tendency is to just say, how the hell with it.
Well, shouldn't the police be sort of checking out the parking lot anyway? Because people
They
must be
ride.
parking in the parking lot.
They ride through, but you would never know that something was going on.
I mean, if they
down
rode their bikes down there, you would never know, but if people are parking in the parking lot,
there. Yeah, but you don't know. Are
You
they
don't
in
know
the
if they're-
because the
building?
place is only open from dusk from dawn to dusk.
Yeah, but at night, there's meetings going on there, so it's hard to really know. It's, I don't blame the police. They
I'm not
do
blaming the
ride by-
police, I'm just
No,
saying, could
saying
we-
for not being more vigilant about this. It's a tricky thing.
For sure, yeah.
Well, so,
I move that we table this till the next meeting, but
Well-
think about it.
we don't need to vote, but just, I've got some ideas to think about now. Fines potentially down there on a sign, and then also just a general sign about the grounds and using the grounds might be useful.
Yeah.
Yeah, and you're right, you gotta make it so it's not an enticement.
Yeah, right. It doesn't have to say anything
Yeah, well, it
about
can just
fire
be-
pit, it can just
right.
talk about using the
Generic.
grounds.
Please be responsible.
Permit required for use of VZ resources or something.
Carry in, carry out.
That should be,
What's the leave no trace? It should
Take
be.
only live plants, leave only photographs.
I mean, poor VZ Park. A lot of abuse.
Well, no, not really.
It's not in tough shape.
No.
My
And
kids are abusing
actually,
it every day at camp.
I mean, I've seen kids skateboarding on the roof, so, not to mention the kid, not last year, but the year before, who ripped up the bottom with his pickup truck.
yeah, but generally speaking, I would say vandalism, I'm not even going to say it
Okay,
because,
thank you.
but it's in good shape.
Okay.
All right, are we gonna have to go back to this?
One other thing. So I did hear from two other people who wish to be more involved with us. I took that as being maybe an associate member. We still have two openings. So
Are these
I-
people have any expertise?
one does about some stuff, and I'd like to maybe connect them up to VZ, Friends of VZ, or something like that, might fit in for that. Another woman contacted me, I didn't get to speak with her, but I sent her an email, told her to come tonight, but obviously she didn't, so I gotta follow up. But if you know anybody else that'd be interested, and we can plug people into different things, So, yes, the last thing is the documents. Let's see if we can polish off one or two of these quickly.
So this looks like it was just, Annie went through and did the edits that we talked about in, maybe not the last meeting, but the meeting before.
Yes, we didn't go all through these, but look at the application for permit or services, because this one's pretty easy. You can see the kind of grayed out stuff would be changes.
Yep.
They all make sense, just adding some more. And I think
some of this has already been updated.
the other one is we will take her email off of everyone. The new email we're going to use is concom@grovelandma.com.
Com with just one M?
Yeah.
Really?
Yeah, that's how we spell it.
No, it's two M's.
Two
Are you
M's,
sure?
yes.
Yes,
I always do Concom.
two M's, sorry.
even when I say.
Just
it,
to
I
distinguish
apply
it
the second
from, .com, it's
Yes,
it's commission, not
Okay.
company or whatever.
yeah. Okay, and we're not going to change anything on the fee schedule, but I would suggest maybe we want to tackle that this fall.
It's been 10 years, right?
Yeah, oh yeah,
I hear there's been some inflation.
10 years is right.
I hear houses are worth twice what they were.
2014 was the last time we changed our
Oh.
fees. Yeah. Where did the 10
What
years
did we
go?
go through, though, when,
Huh?
I swear we were talking about fees and.
Oh,
Oh, we always talk about fees.
Yeah.
Because we're always talking about
On the seasonal
modifying 'em.
restriction is
Yeah.
when we talked a lot about that.
That brings it up way too often.
Okay, step-by-step guide. I don't want to do that one, it's too much.
Too many words.
I'd like to look at it first.
Yeah, look at it, and the next one is about riverfront, not too much in there.
Is this new?
No, that's something I made up, took from a bunch of different internet documents when somebody had questions about the Riverfront Protection Act.
I don't think I've seen this before. That's why I ask if it's new. I like it.
Yeah.
I like it. It's very helpful.
The next one is rules and regulations for conservation areas.
So you have to have permission in order to be able to ride your horse on a trail?
Does it say that?
Yes?
Ride horses with permission, yeah, evidently.
Do we have a violator in our midst?
Well, I guess if I am a commissioner, I give myself permission?
Yeah.
Okay.
Did you do your ethics?
Good catch.
That's a good point.
We should think about that because.
Which one?
That ride horses
Call
with
me up.
permission, because I don't want every horse rider coming in here and asking.
Well, there aren't very many trails that are really rideable anyway.
Tell them to stick to West Newbury where they belong.
I mean, honestly, they're too narrow.
You double indented item 7, but
Wow.
aside from that,
Oh, down there.
I'm sorry, item 7
I mean,
under
do
you
we
may not.
have, how does it work? Do we have an application or they just call and we say, okay, noted?
Yep. Pretty informal. Because we don't have a full-time person, you know, it's like. what
Well,
can
do we have a
do?
calendar so that, who do they talk to?
They send an email or contact our agent.
Okay,
So you ride horses?
I have one.
So when you go riding, I mean, is it something that you plan out days in advance, or is it,
Not always.
You just
Sometimes
decide,
we show up and we're like, hey, you want to go to Maudsley? Sure, and then we go.
so with permission would be probably like an email or something they can send an email to saying that they plan on using the trail, if it's like that day?
Yeah, how does that
With
work?
some contact information?
Well, that,
Because
that,
usually it's pretty casual.
no, but that's, you know, frankly, I don't ever recall granting anybody any of these permissions.
Well, how about this?
Like, well, except the Boy Scouts when they camp.
When would we not grant permission to the ride of horses?
Well,
Can we make it notified? Because that way, that takes the burden on us having to respond.
yeah, that's true.
And if we're never, if there are no circumstances in which we would turn it down, then it's not really a permission, it's more of a, we just want to sort of know
Yeah,
what's going on there.
no, I like that idea because,
That gets Stephanie off the hook there,
Well, I
because I know
still
she's
think that
concerned.
it's not really a thing that people do, like,
no, it is.
Our trails are not good
Not
horse
not meant for
trails.
horses,
It's
but
not that.
I mean, I've seen horse crap all over some of them, but it's not a big thing, it's not common.
I don't see mountain biking on here, under you may or you may not. So I wonder if that needs to be added.
No, down number 7. Motorized vehicles.
Well, but that's
That's not mountain
motorized.
biking.
That's not the same as a mountain bike. And do you want mountain bikes?
Oh, mountain bikes.
That's what she
Well, it's
said.
just-
I didn't hear that. I heard motorbikes.
Oh,
And you're not allowed to swim?
Where?
I mean, I know there's a sign that says you're not supposed to swim at Johnson's Pond. I suppose that's for insurance purposes.
Are you saying mountain bikes should be excluded?
No, well, I think it needs to be added under you may.
Yeah, yeah.
Where do you, oh, you want to say that motorbikes?
No, mountain bikes.
Yeah.
Pedal bikes.
Unmarked trails?
Mountain bikes are permitted?
Yeah,
We want to?
I mean, people already do it.
Yeah, but I'm just wondering.
is
if
it
that's
degrading the
okay.
trails? That's our
It
concern.
can.
Well,
I don't have any problem with it, but
so do we want to say ride horses or mountain bikes after notification or with notification or?
yeah, notification.
Sorry.
Well,
We
Riding
aren't gonna
horses-
ask
Already
for
done
permission.
that.
Right, nobody's ever gonna be like, oh, I gotta call the Comcom and let them know I'm riding my bike on the trail.
No, that ain't gonna fly.
It's the
Well,
same thing
then
with
why is
horses.
then why is it even out there? If we
Here's-
don't want any control, then we shouldn't put
But
anything.
here's the problem, this is the problem, and it's really, has occurred, okay? It's not one mountain bike, but, you know, a group of like 20 mountain bikes blowing through Meadow Pond area. And you're trying to walk through, and all of a sudden, there's all these mountain bikes come pounding through.
Grab
I
a
don't think
stick,
you could
throw it in
get
the spokes as they
20
go by.
boys off of their devices for long enough to gather in a pack and ride their mountain bikes on
They
Johnson's
do.
Pond.
No, this has happened, I'm telling you. So you know what another person does? Another person takes logs and trees on the side of the trails and puts them across
Ah,
the trail so that they can't do that.
Is that me?
No,
well,
Oh, I thought it was.
I mean,
in a butter.
Oh,
oh, I mean, I was just, because some of those, okay, all right. I mean, it's, you know, I have a sled dog, and he likes to pull a bike.
Yeah.
So you're telling me I can't bike Jor with my retired
No,
sled dog?
I'm saying one or two isn't going to be a problem. It's when you get a whole group of people doing something, like the whole group of people that, kids that I caught in there having a paintball fight,
Okay,
you know? It's like, well,
Yeah.
one, okay, but not like 20 kids, you know? I don't know the answer. I'm just telling you what some of the experiences are.
I agree.
oh, dirt bikes is in there. Or is dirt bike a,
Those are motorized.
okay.
No motorized vehicles.
Yeah,
I like the way that's
The
written.
worst ones, I mean, by far, the ATVs are the worst.
Right,
We're talking about
I
easy.
mean,
because they'll go over anything.
And when
They're,
when you get 5 or 10 of those blowing through there, you know it, but you can,
Yeah.
at least you can hear them coming.
Yeah. I agree.
So, think about this, we'll come back to this again. I don't know what the answer is about some of this stuff.
Okay.
And look over, what permit do I file for? I think she pretty much changed that from the last time with a couple of minor corrections. So that one might be ready to go. Yes. Any other items for open discussion?
Move to adjourn at 8:32.
Second. I don't have anything.
No? Nope, I don't think anybody's got anything. All in favor of adjourning, say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Unanimous.
So this
And that's a
application for
wrap.
permit
It's gonna be a
services
sad
has
day.
already been